right, guys, part 2 of our test of some organic pigments painted right here. Ty, take a look right there beside you. We got some Sherwin-Williams in, painted these other pieces of siding this morning, let them dry. So we've got 2 Clark and Kensingtons over here on the far left. Sherwin-Williams Super Paint, Sherwin-Williams Durations, and Sherwin-Williams Duracraft paint. Right. I don't know why I'm talking like an Aussie today. So we've got the Softwash system, got a LuMax Pro there on the back of the truck, which was just convenient for us to be able to spray this. You got to set on about 2.5%, which is a little hotter than you'd normally be on a house wash. So if this doesn't change it, then we'll play around some more. But we're going to just put a coat on all 3 of these. You may need to come in a little closer. I don't know what's going to happen, but we will find out if we get some streaking. All right, here we go. We'll just let that sit for a minute. I don't know if it's going to be instantaneous. It may not do anything, but we'll find out. If it doesn't, we'll crank the SH up a little bit and get into a roof cleaning strength, and we'll see what happens. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So what we did is set the system up to about 2.5%. We sprayed them over there against the door, and initially we could tell, I don't think it would have picked up in camera, but these 3 here, the Sherwins, they were all exactly the same shade because he had them mixed yesterday to the same color, just 3 different lines of Sherwin-Williams paint. This one, the Super Paint, started looking a little more green than the other 2. So we waited a little bit and then we could start seeing, I don't know if you guys can see it, this one is the most obvious, and this is the Clark and Kensington. So like right here, it's quite a bit different of a shade than it is up here on this corner. The pink Clark and Kensington didn't do anything. Looks exactly like it did. This one here, the Super Paint, it has faded a little bit. I don't know if y'all be able to see it, but we could see it over there. So we're gonna let them dry and come back in a second and see if they'll show up better on camera, because I rinsed them off, and when I rinsed them, it kind of made everything look a little better. So we're gonna let them sit here and dry and see if when we come back, if they're dry, that it's more noticeable. This one right here was very noticeable a few minutes ago before we rinsed it back off. So it's definitely messing with the pigmentation here. This one also is getting funky. Like right here, there's a little green, a little bit greener looking tone where we sprayed it. And I did it 2 different ways. I sprayed the whole board, and then we cranked it up to about 3.5%, and I just kind of drizzled a spot or 2 to simulate like overspray, which is common. That can happen too. So we're gonna let them dry. We'll be back again and finish this video up, but there is something definitely happening here. So I'm glad for the experiment anyway that we're getting a result, but this is what can happen if you go up to a hotter mix. I think some of these might have been okay at 1.5.
Probably so.
And even a different color of Durations Sherwin-Williams might be okay, right? So you can't just write the whole lineup of paint off, and it's just one of those things. So you should always do a test spot. That's why. Even if you're doing a roof cleaning and it's going to be a hardy plank house, I'm going to still test that hardy plank somewhere just to make sure that, you know, I'm not like borderline going to screw the house up. Sometimes there's no way to not get overspray on a house. So, all right, we'll be back in a minute. Let these dry, and we'll see if these show up like they did earlier. But yeah, that one's definitely screwed up. All right, we'll be back. Okay, guys, so we're going to finish up this experiment here. Clark and Kensington, these 2 paints here, and then these 3 Sherwin-Williams different lineups. We got the paint cans there. So what we did, just to recap, we painted everything, and we came in here today and sprayed all of them with about a 2% mix, and nothing much happened except this one. It was very noticeable. I don't know if you guys can even tell this, but don't pay attention to this right now, but here to here, there's a very noticeable color change, like right there to right there. And over here on this side, we can see it pretty good. So these other ones, this Sherwin-Williams Duracraft at about 2%, it just changed the whole color of the board because I sprayed it uniformly. So it lightened it up versus these other 2 because they were all the same. So we went from there up to like an overspray from a roof cleaning mix, went up to about 6%. And in that scenario, I just got some little drippies on here and kind of let it run down. And it was pretty noticeable at that point. It was very streaky. I didn't take any separate footage of that, but I came back after that and we just sprayed it. This is just a bottle of 12% bleach, and I sprayed the same spot, and it just made it a whole lot worse. And you can see it in every one of these now. And the pink, Clark and Kensington, it held up pretty good until we got to 12%. Well, it started messing with it at 6%. You could notice it, but now they're all ruined at this point. So what can we say about that? Even at 2%, let's say you're washing a house and it's real nasty and you bump it up and you're kind of on a real hot house wash mix, you got to be careful. You can ruin this. That's why we teach in our class always to do a test spot, no matter what. But let's say you're doing that same house and you're going to wash the house at 1.5, you'll probably be okay. Do a test spot, make sure. Then you're going to clean the roof once you get done with the house. Well, you can still screw up because you go up to 5 or so and get some overspray, and that's what can happen right there. So the hotter you go, and certain lines of paint, but look, these two are the same brand. There were different pigments, and this pink held up a lot better than the blue did. The pink was unfazed at the same levels that the blue here started reacting. So yes, the question, are, at least with these Sherwin-Williams and these Clark and Kensingtons, does bleach affect them? Yes, absolutely, which I already knew that. But it's going to vary house to house because they're not going to know, like, was it Sherwin-Williams super paint? This right here was probably the least janky looking one of all.
Yeah, it was.
It changed the color, but it was uniform, and it was so unnoticeable. Like if I was the homeowner, I wouldn't have noticed that. We only saw it because we were holding them side by side to two different paints. So this one, you probably wouldn't have really had an issue except when we got into the higher ranges. So you guys got to be really careful. Your homeowners are not going to know what kind of paint it was, probably Sherwin-Williams, but especially they're not going to know what line of Sherwin-Williams paint. So anytime you're getting into the hotter mixes, you got to be really careful. Be really careful with overspray, and always do a what?
Do a test spot.
Do a test spot, man. Don't get out there and get yourself repainting the house. And look, hey, if you want to strip it back down to hardy, spray it with 12, and it'll be back down to bare board. All right, hope that video series was helpful to y'all. We'll see you later.